Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm going to have an opportunity to practice my teaching voice this morning and a mixed setup, and so I'll be inclusive of both sides. I'm delighted to have all of you at the Wolfson Campus Center Gallery this morning. I'm Joaquin Martinez, the president of Miami-Dade College's Wolfson Campus and Hialeah Campus, but today is all about the Wolfson Campus. And what a special gathering indeed this is. We are here in celebration of many things. First, in celebration of Women's History Month, and the Center Gallery at the Wolfson Campus opens with this very special exhibition and with wonderful guests and friends of our students and the college. There are many folks who made today possible, and what was going to be a real brief introduction has turned into something more, because there are a few people among many others. And the danger of doing this is that I can't get everyone recognized, but there are just a few who exemplify the extraordinary heart that went into today's event. I want to take a moment to recognize Dr. Monique Jimenez and Ms. Marlene Gonzalez, who are the chairs. Who have chaired the Women's History Month Committee at the college and put together an extraordinary program, this being one of them. There are also many friends whom I've met or seen in our audience, and although I cannot acknowledge all of them, I do want to take a special moment to recognize my colleague, Dr. Malou Harrison, who joins all of the campus presidents, and Dr. Padron. Dr. Harrison. Dr. Harrison is the president of Miami-Dade College's North and Inter-American campuses and joins me in advancing this wonderful work. There are two extraordinary friends of the college who are real champions, who are with us every step of the way to help promote culture and human rights in a very special and effective way. Elizabeth Sanchez Vega is here, and Deborah Sacha. Thank you both from the International Solidarity Human Rights Campaign and all the work that you do on behalf of our students and the college. I met just a little bit ago, or saw again, I should say, Dr. Spangler, who is a retired professor affiliated with NOVA. There he is, Dr. Spangler. Nice to see you. Dr. Spangler is joining us. I also want to recognize a very special friend of the college and of the artist in residence today, Sandra Gold, PhD. Where is Dr. Gold? Dr. Gold of the Gold Foundation, a founder of Humanism in Medicine, yes, and we were just exchanging reflections on the white coat ceremony and all of the important contributions she's made. We're delighted. I could go on all morning, but I think I want to recognize especially Dr. Wilma Bulkin Siegel, who is the artist in residence. Medical doctor, I should say. Artist, medical doctor. Yes. Dr. Siegel, Bulkin Siegel graduated from the University of Pennsylvania and received her medical degree from the Women's Medical College in Pennsylvania as a prominent oncologist in New York City. She really has pioneered so many efforts in establishing, for example, the first example of hospice care in New York City, and one of the first ever to accept patients diagnosed with HIV/AIDS. She has had solo exhibitions locally and nationally, including at the Museum of Art in Fort Lauderdale and the White Space Collection in West Palm Beach, among many others. Today is special to have her right here Her watercolor portrait series are equal parts her subject's essence and medical records. In merging art with the medical field, Dr. Siegel humanizes the therapeutic strengths of the doctor-patient relationship, or in this case, the artist-patient relationship. As she explained in the previous series, I hope, and I quote, "I hope to give some type of therapy to the soul. I try to create a work that shows not only the suffering of an individual, but also the depth of spirit that each one possesses." Today's exhibition will include, and we're very fortunate for that, a lecture by the artist, followed by a reception where I encourage and welcome all of you to join us after the program. The artworks will be exhibited right here in the Center Gallery through March 29th because we can't get enough of them. And what a treat. I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Wilma Bulkin Siegel to the podium.
I'm really flabbergasted to be here and seeing this wonderful audience, and I thank Miami-Dade College for this honor to be able to show my work in a place that has what I think empathy, because I've seen it. I've seen it in action, and it's to have this beautiful exhibition done with such panache in a very short period of time. I am women's history. I'm 82 years old. And that's why they picked me. I'm having that age. And the age gives me wisdom. And I want to share that wisdom. That's who I am. I give rather than get. And one of the things we were talking early on, and I'm just going to repeat something that I want you to get. Authenticity and accountability. That's who I am. I try to find what truth is. That's authenticity. And accountability is I have to be there. I have to be there till the end. It's continuity. And know what the negative is to make it positive. My feelings in life is I've always gone for the most difficult to make it better. To make it better. Why did I do watercolor? Watercolor is the worst, most difficult medium. And it goes away. And these have to be protected, so there's an awful lot of light in here. But I'm willing for you to understand these people. It is the we, not the me. The we, not the me. Our society has become the me, not the we. And I want to change that. And why do you see all of these people together? They're almost all the same, but they're all very different, and they're very important. Everybody's important. No matter what. And that should be in the whole world. That's what I believe in. And that's the message I want to give. And I believe that this business of Me Too and women and whatever it be, I've been through what is called HELL when it comes to male chauvinism. But I didn't care one iota. I had a vision to take care of people. I love people. That's what you see here. You see love of people. That's what I care about. And I want you to think that way. I don't want you to think about yourself. Think about others and why they are there for you and why you are there for them. It's the mirror image of who we are. The other person is who we are. And you have to think that way. These people gave themselves to me, and I honor them. They're very special. There's the grandmother and the mother of one of my subjects. He might be president of the United States someday. He's amazing, an amazing child. And he was so happy to be with me, but I was happy to be with him. And that's the message I want you to think about. When you go into there, you're going to go into spirituality. Spirituality is getting into the world, into the universe. And the people I chose in that were about, it was the we, not the me. They got past themselves to do something for somebody else. And that's why I chose them. And there's a thing that I realized, kind of an epiphany that happened to me after I painted them, is that the end of that, and you're going to look for him, is Sean Acker. He was the youngest professor at Harvard. And I went to one day university at the very beginning. They had a trial. And he was there, and he was teaching the psychology of joy. Well, one day university for retirees like me is about teaching intellect. And older people need more intellect. They can't waste away. And what they did is they picked the most advanced professors in the Ivy League schools and the most popular one. Well, Sean was the youngest. And how was he the youngest? He had gone to, he had won a scholarship to Harvard, and he had won it from the Navy. When he got to Harvard, he said, I might kill somebody, I don't want to do this, I'll give up my scholarship. He said, I think I'll go into religion, and he said, I don't think that's going to answer everything, I think I'll become a psychologist. And he looked around, and he was depressed. You looked at all the other students and they were depressed. Why were they depressed? Because they were all first in their class. They're never going to be first in their class again. They go to Harvard. And so he thought about that and he said, what am I going to do about this? And he said, I think I'll make a course in the psychology of joy. He went to his psychology professor and said, let's do this. They expected 25 students and 1,000 students signed up for it. And I thought about that, and I said, we're here on earth to have joy. And that's what it's about. It's about having joy. And education, and you are so lucky to be in this wonderful school, it's about joy of learning. And life is about joy of learning. And I want you to think about enjoying your future. You must pick the field that gives you the most joy in life. You will be successful no matter what you do when you have joy. So think about that. It's very hard to go through school and to memorize. But memorization is a way, it's a standard to get us to think. But the most important part is thinking. And one of the things that I have been very passionate about, and that's why Sandra Gold is here, is about art and medicine. Medicine is an art. It's not just a science. And science and art are exactly the same. So I'm very passionate about bringing that into education because it is an art to have interaction with people. It's all it is. That's what medicine does. You give confidence to people. You teach them how to have joy in their life and comfort. When I was creating the hospice, you've got my history, I don't have to give you my history. But when I was creating the hospice, nobody was doing it. Again, I have to do the most difficult. Nobody was taking care of death and dying. In '73, I had gone and heard a lecture by Kubler-Ross on death and dying. Then I heard in London there was a person called Cecily Saunders. Well, she came to the Bronx where I was doing medicine. I was treating cancer patients. And I met her. And then I went to St. Christopher's in London. I made myself go there because I didn't know. People were sending me dying patients. Nobody knew what to do. I learned. I created a pain team. Nobody was doing a pain team. How did that all happen? And then what happened is they began to think about hospice Medicare. And I went to the first hospice Medicare meeting in Washington, which was a government meeting. I was the only doctor there. It was unusual. Doctors weren't thinking about this. But I knew I had to do something. And I did it. I made it happen. I started the pain team. I had a psychologist. I went to the anesthesiologist to teach me about pain management. I went to a social worker to help me. The psychologist helped me, and we made pain rounds. And I began to learn. I learned through what I was doing with patients. And then I went to a lecture given by Rene DuBose, who created, he was the president of Rockefeller University, a major scientific university in New York City. He was a philosopher. And the title of his talk was Cure Sometimes, Console Often, and Comfort Always. It gave me the epiphany of what life is about. It's about comfort always. So that's what I do with people. I comfort them. That's what doctors should do. That's what everybody should do when you have your heart and soul in caring about someone. It's about comfort. So cure isn't the first. It's comfort first. Console often and cure sometimes. That's how it should be. But our world is not thinking that way. I'm giving you an idea for you. I seed. This is seeding. This gallery is seeding. It's beginning a gallery again. And that's what I believe, planting the seeds of visions that I have. And that I think these visions are important because I often seek truth. And I always question truth. Because what is truth today is not truth tomorrow. And that's why you're here in this institution, to learn how to question. That's what education is about. You should always question what you've learned and see if that is truth. That's my major message. These people have given it to me. They have taught me so much about life. And I honor these people. I use color because it's a fire of life. It's who these people are. These Holocaust survivors, I understand yesterday you had a meeting about and a woman inspiring empathy. And you talked about the Holocaust. These people survived because they love life. They look for the joy of life. They have a message. Many of them are Jewish. The Jews have brought to our world the 10 Commandments. They're here to remind us what the 10 Commandments are about. And it's about thou shalt not kill. It's an important message. There's more to it. Honor thy father and thy mother. Love thy neighbor. That's the most important thing that I see in this room, is love thy neighbor. That's why it's called the we, not the me. And then I go along, and then there are these wonderful children that come from the modern family, not the traditional family, but the modern family. And these children are the future. They're important. That each one of them have extreme empathy, because the kind of parenting they have is exceptional. It's about teaching empathy towards the world. And each one of them have that. And I honor that they taught me that. I think it's quite beautiful. And then we go into a room with veterans. Those veterans have sacrificed their lives for us. They're very important people. And they come back from Iraq and Afghanistan with extreme PTSD. You see that in those portraits, in their eyes. The eyes are the mirror of our soul. That's what you're seeing in this room. The eyes are the most important thing that I do when I sit with the patient, subject, whatever. I'm a doctor, artist, I don't know which. It's who I am. But the eyes are what you're seeing. It's the mirror of their soul. It's what they're giving to me, and it's what I try to understand when I paint them. When you go into the spirituality room, there's something different. I always crop. And I crop the heads. You see this. It's kind of funny. But what I want the audience to see is the eyes and that brain that's happening, and what is happening behind the veil of what we show to the public. And I want you to think about going off into the universe, which is the spirituality of the individual. And I want you to think past that portrait, past that frame. That's why I cry. You go in the spirituality room, it was originally planned to be a curtain. Christo, a famous artist, inspired me. He made curtains in Central Park. And they were orange curtains, and they were about spirituality. Well, those were to be hung as curtains, but the room didn't allow it. On the back were the stories, and in the room that I first showed it in my studio, we had a religious organization which would come in periodically and talk about life and what is life about, because these people inspired them to talk that way. And on the back were the stories that you'll see on the floor. The stories sit on the back of those curtains. And in the room I had, that's why I entitled this whole place, and that's the ultimate. It's the me, not the we. That's who those people were. And when the people stand behind the curtains to read the stories of the people on the front of the curtain, their feet show. And so the audience becomes part of the curtain. It's the we, not the me. And the we, not the me, I'm going to leave you with that, is empathy. It's getting past yourselves to the other person, into the shoes of the other person. It's easy to have compassion. It's very difficult to have empathy. Compassion is understanding, but empathy is doing something about it. And it's very important. And nobody knows how to teach it. And I hope my art will help you understand that. And that's my message. If you have any questions, you can ask me about it. But I am so proud to be here in front of your young faces and seeing that your eyes are opening and understanding life. And life is beautiful. It's to be enjoyed. And please enjoy what you're doing. It's the most important thing you can do in this world. To give to others and get yourself joy in return.